Hey everyone, Emily here and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to do a little twist on one of my favorites, bread pudding, and turn it into a little bit more of a fall dessert by adding in some pumpkin. I think this is going to taste like a great combination of bread pudding and pumpkin pie. I'll show you how to put this together. Let's get started. We'll start out by buttering our baking dish. I'm going to be using a casserole dish for this, but you can use a 9x13 baking pan, anything that's enough to hold about 6 cups of bread plus about 3 cups of liquid. So make sure it is large enough. I'm going to cut off just about a tablespoon of butter, put that into my baking dish, and then spread it around to evenly coat everything. Make sure you butter up the sides as well so that the bread pudding comes out easily when it's done baking. I'll set my casserole dish off to the side for now, and now I'm going to work on slicing up my bread. You'll need about 6 slices of bread or 6 cups, that's roughly what it is, and I recommend using something a little bit sweet. I'm going to be using about half a loaf of brioche. I have my 6 slices here, so I'll just go ahead and cube this up. And then I'll just add this directly into my casserole dish. You can really use any white bread for this, but something that's a little bit sweet and an egg bread is going to work a little bit better, something that you might use for French toast. Once you have your casserole dish filled up, you can set this off to the side and we're going to work on the batter. Into a bowl, I'm going to combine a half cup of white granulated sugar and about a cup and a half of warmed up milk. This is going to help the sugar dissolve into the milk. I'll whisk this together, give it a little bit of a head start. And once that starts to dissolve, I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of butter. It'll be a half a stick, and I'm going to slice this up so it just helps the butter melt into the mixture. This is also going to help to cool it off. We have to add our eggs in and we want to make sure our milk isn't too warm when we do that. Just continue mixing until your butter melts, and at that point your sugar should also be dissolved. My butter has dissolved, so I'm going to start seasoning this. I'll add in about a teaspoon of vanilla and about the same amount of cinnamon. Next, I'm going to add in half of a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Make sure you hold off from adding in your pumpkin until after the butter has melted into the milk. This is really going to cool things down, and if your butter hasn't melted, could stop things from combining properly. Whisk this all together. This is starting to smell like pumpkin pie. And then we're going to add our eggs. I'm going to crack in 3 large eggs, one at a time. And then whisk this all together, and that'll be the last of our wet ingredients. I've brought my casserole dish back over, and on top of the bread, I'm going to sprinkle in about a half cup of golden raisins. This is going to just add a little additional sweetness to everything, and these are also going to plump up really nice when they soak up that wet mixture that we've made and when they bake in the oven. It's going to be a really nice touch. I'll give my wet mixture just one more whip to combine that all together and keep the cinnamon suspended in the mixture. And now I'm going to pour this over the top. Make sure you're getting that over every piece of bread so nothing's left dry. This is looking fantastic, but you'll notice there's still a ton of liquid in here. We want to let our bread soak up all of this egg mixture before we pop it into the oven, so let it sit for at least a half an hour. It's better if you let it sit for a couple of hours in the refrigerator before baking this, and you can even put this together up to a day ahead of time before you pop it into the oven. So this is a great one to prepare in advance. I'm going to let it hang out here for about a half an hour, and then I'll put it into a 350-degree oven. You'll see the difference when we come back for it. It's been about 30 minutes and you can see the difference that we have here after it's just been hanging out for a little while. This has soaked up quite a bit of the liquid. The bread has really started to puff up and now it's ready to go into the oven. Even better if you can let it hang out for 2 hours or more, but I just don't have the time. So we're going to pop this into a 350-degree oven for 40 to 45 minutes until the edges are browned and the middle is starting to set up, and then this will be ready to serve. My bread pudding just came out of the oven. This took 45 minutes and it's at the perfect consistency. I'll show you what I mean. So if you give it a shake, you can still see that the middle has a little bit of a wobble to it, but it's not liquidy. You want everything to be set up. It's okay if it still has a little bit of movement. That's going to slowly come together as everything cools. You don't want it to be overcooked. This is going to be just perfect after a few minutes hanging out outside of the oven. I'll let this cool off for a few minutes, but it is best served warm, and then we can give this a try. This has had a few minutes to set up, so I'm going to give this a little scoop and see how it turned out. It smells amazing. It smells like pumpkin pie. It's still super hot, but let's give it a taste and see how it is. This came out amazing. It does have a lot of the flavors of a pumpkin pie, but it's so much easier to put together, and it still tastes a lot like a traditional bread pudding. So a really nice combination of those two things, making it perfect for fall. I hope you try it, and I hope you like it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you can get notified every time I post. As always, you can find the full recipe to this in the description box down below, along with links to all my social media pages and my Amazon page where you can find all my cooking favorites. If you try this recipe, let me know how you like it in the comments section down below and leave me an idea for the next recipe that I should try. Hope to see you back here next time.